learn a little bit more about the movie. First of all, let's give it up for Trey and awesome. So first of all, Trey, we don't have much time. Let's just get right into it, right? Not a lot of words, but great music, right? Great soundtrack. Talk to us a little bit about the soundtrack, influence of the music, and it seems like you're a Kanye fan.
Yes. Love Kanye, love Frank. I mean, I love all the music in it. I'm very, very blessed that we actually got the soundtrack. It was a smaller movie, it didn't have a lot of money. I think it started, DNA of this thing started in high school, and music was huge for me in high school. It got me through a lot of things, and I was very music hungry. And ever since I was in high school, that was the initial origins of the movie. There was like teens and music. There's a lot more in the movie than just that now, but it's a huge element, I think. And so I kind of just hoped that it would be, the soundtrack and the music would be the ebb and flow and a lot of the sort of DNA and spirit of it. And I hope it brings you closer to Tyler and Emily's world, closer with their perspective. And also if you lay out the music in order, there's a story being told from song to song that echoes the narrative of the film. I felt a bit of creative liberty in the sense that when I was in high school, I listened to everything and I would be hungry for it, so I thought Ty and M would be like that. And so, it was like, I want to put my favorite music in there. And then luckily, we actually got all of it.
Awesome. Okay, so talking to me a little bit about your high school days and how music had played an influence in your life. Let's get a little bit deeper and talk about the movie and how it connects to your life. So tell me a little bit more about the connection to your life and the movie, the story, where did all that come from, and how did it play a part in your life?
Well, this has been this is my third film, and it's been brewing for the better part of a decade. And it started in high school, and it kept building up with ideas as like living through things. So I'd say the narrative itself almost functions. There's a lot of real stuff from my life and loved ones' lives, and it functions as real stuff, fictional narrative, real stuff, fictional narrative, all swooping together, kind of like that. So it was like, at first it was like after I tore my shoulder in wrestling, I was going through a hard time in life. It was like that was part of the story, and then going through more in life, it would add, and I think ultimately too, a lot of stuff, getting through grief, getting to the other side of some things, and having perspective on those things, because when you're in it, it's all consuming, but when you get on the other side, you can see the good and bad of everything, because I think that's what makes us human, it's the good and the bad, and so that was really exciting. And then I got to give credit to Calvin, the lead actor, who I think is incredible. Y'all should give him a round. He's not here, but we worked on our last movie together, and we wanted to make something together again. And at that point, I still didn't have the whole thing figured out at all. But I was like, I think it could be this story, and Cal was attracted to Tyler. And we just got closer for a year. And then a year later, I started writing, and we were doing like these mini therapy sessions. We call them, and we were on the phone, and text message, and talking about our experience at that point. Talking about relationship with our fathers, our mothers, lovers, school, pressures, everything. Trying to find commonalities and differences and specificities for him. So that all worked into the script. And then after I finished it 8 months before we started shooting, he'd give me notes, and I'd write more. And so it all kind of came together. And I think getting through those personal things in life and then meeting Calvin is like what was meant to be to let it all click into place.
Awesome. Okay, let's invite Griff up to the front. Awesome. Okay.
How long we gonna be in the dark?
They're turning it up. They're working on it.
Cool. So that was a great insight into how the movie played out of some of the stories in your life. Going a little bit deeper, if you would be one of the roles of the characters, which one would it be?
I'd say I'm the closest to probably Tyler and Luke, and, the males on each side of the movie. And it all kind of starts, giving examples, like I'd say it all starts from personal stuff, like I see myself in Tyler and Luke, I see my girlfriend and Emily and Alexa, I see my parents and the parents, but then it grows out and bigger from you, if that makes sense. So like once I start working with Cal and we talk about his experience, his parent, like Tyler kind of becomes a combination of us in ways, and then we take things from his parents, but then as each actor comes on, it's so collaborative, and they bring themselves, and we retailer the role in ways, and it's just extremely collaborative to where it starts very narrow and personal with me, but it keeps kind of spewing out and growing bigger in a beautiful, beautiful way. And when you're doing that with people you love, that are amazing, talented, it's like the best feeling in the world.
Gotcha. Okay, so not one person in particular, it's not just your story of your life or anything like that. So it sounds like a collaboration, right? So what I'm interested in knowing also is why starring or casting a black family as this story? Just talk to me a little bit more about that decision and how that came apart.
It's all Calvin. It's all Calvin because it was we wanted to work together again. So we're just like, let's figure this out. Let's start from scratch and see how we can tailor make a role for you. And that's why that collaboration was so huge, you know. And it was really organic and beautiful. It was one of the best collaborations of my life.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay.
Trey, first of all, great. I loved all the characters. I love how you address the mental health. I love the mental health. I loved how being a father, I raised 3 sons, how you have to be hard on them, but you also have to, man, I wasn't the dude in the audience going, man, that's me. Like, no, I don't know. I talk to my kids all the time, and we go hard, but then I'm a comedian, so I can't be that hard on them. But I love the connection of their mother overdosed, so it wasn't him always from the pain of being a wrestler that he was doing drugs, you know what I'm saying, and how the parents were there and they weren't there, and I loved how it was a great middle-class black family that had money and a giant house, and the kids was doing good, and I loved that part from the beginning. I loved the videography, how it was shot, like your car scenes with the camera hitting everybody in the car. I was telling, there's an actress up there, Raquel from Atlanta, I said, it must have been a skinny dude, man. He was in the car, just spinning in circles. Look, they showing off now. They just showing off. Trey, it was good. You know what I'm talking about. You know the parts I'm talking about. And I also like the wave theme throughout the whole movie. I like the transition in waves. And what I've always told my kids is a moment can mess you up. And I like how you caught the moments, because it's not saying we didn't see the dad hit the mom or beat up the mom, so that was from something else. But that one moment affects everybody, and I love the ripples of everybody's character. Then I loved how the daughter was going through it, and I loved the mental health part, how she had an anxiety attack. That's what she had, because everybody around me was like, go do something to your brother. But when you have an anxiety attack, you can't do nothing. Nobody can help you, and then you need to take medicine for that. And then I just loved how I was glad it ended, because it seemed like it was just going in another problem and another problem. I was like, all right, that looked like yesterday in this movie. But Trey, you caught some great moments, man. Me and my daughter, I just texted my daughter, I said, I'm at this premiere, I'm a bibliophile, ladies and gentlemen, and a cinephile. I'm somebody who loves books and who loves movies, and I stayed with movies to the very end until it say no, animals hurt in this movie all the time. My whole life, I see 2-3 movies a week. I'm writing them. I love everything about the movie and sitting next to another creative. But my daughter loves when we watch movies, I watch for dialogue, and she listens for score. Your score was amazing, because without the score of a film, the score really brings it along. And from the church to Chance the Rapper, it was sweet. So that's my comment.
My goodness, thank you so much.
So what I hear is a collaboration of sorts that you know.
Appreciate it, Rick. Okay, so I agree with all of that. So if there was the one thing walking out of this movie is that, what would you want people to know?
I think there's a lot in the movie, and I think different people are gonna take different things, so I like to keep it simple. I hope you get at the end and you feel some empathy, you know, because this movie, for me, I gotta give a shout out to my mom again. She's a therapist, and give her a round of applause. I think I would get going on about it, and you know, a lot of what therapy's about is, you know, looking at the good and bad from a person and learning, you know. So I hope it feels empathetic, and I hope it feels we're trying to understand these people and understand what's going on, and I hope it feels like we get to the other side and we feel some healing. You know, I also think communication's a big thing to me. I think you could take the first half of this movie and see it as a cautionary tale for communication, you know, or a lack of communication, I think, between parent and child, too. I think the example, Dad and Ty, you know, I think he loves him so much. He loves him so hard, he doesn't always allow that perfect line of communication. He can correct it with his daughter, but it breaks my heart it's too late for his sides with Ty. So it's all that. It's a lot of stuff, but I just, at the end of the day, too, I just hope I hope you stay with it and feel some things and then have a lot to think about afterwards.
And I was saying, for some of the parents who are sitting in the room right now who are like, oh man, maybe I have pushed him too far, or, you know, what?
That's right, go ahead.
Yeah, if you have pushed him too far, what is the course of action to get back or to find out what's going on in their kids' lives?
Well, I'm not a parent, but all I can say is I know how it feels to be a kid, and I know it's a lot at that age, man. You're not a kid, you're not an adult, you're right in the middle, and it can feel like the weight of the world, and it can feel like expectations on your parents that you can't always open up and talk to them. So I think, you know, I would just say the best you can try to take a step back and always let your kids know, no matter what is going on, you can tell me, and I'm always there for you. My parents are great at that, but it's still, it's hard, man, it's hard.
Trey, I was with you the whole movie until that boy cussed his daddy out. And I can tell you're not a parent because that would never happen in real life, Trey. That's so much imagination. Give it up for Trey's imagination. In his world, what happened? Y'all should have cut that, do the recut, the DVD where he stomped his son out and make him eat dinner.
Okay, so with me.
That's right. What was you doing?
Okay, so talk to me about some of the biggest challenges coming to the movie, or creating the movie. Even within yourself, getting some of these stories out, I'm sure, was a piece of therapy, making and putting them on film. Talk to me a little bit about that process, but then also within creating the movie itself.
Yeah, honestly, the most challenging thing were just like practicalities leading into it, you know, silly stuff, like they wanted a bond company, and the bond company thought our schedule was impossible, and they realized that cheated the page count, and it was very stressful. I thought the movie was gonna fall apart before we even shot it, but honestly, once we actually started shooting, it was incredible. To me, they're the best actors in the world, and I have a lot of crew that I've been making movies with since my first movie, so it was beautiful. We had some very hard emotional places to go, so that stuff, was extremely hard and taxing on the actors, like go there and make it honest and truthful, there was that, but honestly, I just look back and it was the best summer of my life making the movie, so, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, so, okay, when, and I'm trying to think about how I want to ask this. So, when it comes down to some of those things like you talked about, cussing the dad out, or some of the, I don't want to call them stereotypes within the black family on the screen, but how did you manage or figure out ways to have a proper message of an African American family on a film that'll be cast, nationwide, you know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, honestly, it was all in that collaboration with Calvin, with the other actors, Like I was saying before, it's about understanding, like even the cussing out the dad, everything, I mean, I hear you, but I've done that, Kel's done that, we've gone to those places, it's based on real life, but we don't wanna judge him, we wanna understand how he gets to that moment, you know what I mean? This whole thing, I think you could take this trajectory of this story, and in the wrong hands, it's a cliche, and it's lazy and it's not good. What we cared about